for Sunday school that sometimes we do a lot of projects, and sometimes the projects are art, other times the project is baking or cooking, and today we are going to make something really fun. We are going to make some pretzels. Why are we making pretzels? I'm going to tell you all about it, and it has everything to do with that time between Ash Wednesday, I don't know if you remember, or if you had your forehead crossed, most of you did, and Easter Sunday, which is coming up real quick. It's this Sunday. So that time in between those two holidays for our church, for our faith, is called Lent. And it's not what you find in the dryer. It's not on your clothes where you have to use a rollie.
Is it where people search their belly?
No, it's not in your belly button, Piper. Lent is a time of wonder and mystery. It's a time where we think a little bit harder and we pray a little bit harder. Some people give up things for Lent so that they're not as distracted. And then when they're praying or thinking, they're not thinking about that candy bar or that video game. They are thinking a little more about God, a little more about their community. So you might hear people say, oh, I gave that up for Lent. And then on Easter, they're like, woohoo! But something else happened 600 years ago. In Italy, there was a monk. You know, a monk is someone who dedicates their whole life to praying and thinking about God. Yes, it's a very holy position. And this monk knew that during the time of Lent, when bread is unleavened, it doesn't rise, he could get creative with it. So he made bread with folded arms. And he named it after tiny folded arms, which I don't speak Italian very well, but he called it braciole, and then the Germans called it Pretzel, and then English called it
Pretzel.
Pretzels! So, we're making pretzels today, little praying arms that I didn't even know until recently was a customary snack or treat during the time of Lent. So, as an adult, I'm always learning things. It's super exciting. Exactly. Cool. So we are going to throw this ingredient list up for you. I need to tell you a funny story. This is a not so funny time right now, and it's hard to find certain ingredients. This ingredient right here is called yeast. Why are we using yeast if it's not supposed to rise? We don't let the bread rise. We use the yeast and we bake it right away, so it still counts. This yeast is hard to find in the stores. Another thing that's hard to find in the stores? Flour. So, you might need to trade with a neighbor. I traded hand sanitizer with a neighbor for this yeast. She would have given it to me for free. She's that good of a friend. But I treated her some hand sanitizer. Whoa. So you might have some toilet paper. You might have some fresh apples or mushrooms that you could trade for yeast and flour. You can make a game of it. These are weird and funny times. Make a game of it.
Trade is a game.
Trade. All right, let's get cooking. So did you hold the recipe up?
All
right, Evan's going to hold the ingredient list up. We'll walk you through the steps of the recipe. 3 steps. There are your ingredients. You could take a screenshot if you want, or you could pause the video. Not too many ingredients. We added one more ingredient today because it's rosemary, and I love rosemary focaccia, and I thought it would taste good, but I also noticed if I cover up rose, although rose is a very nice thing to have around the holidays, but if you cover up rose, guess what that says?
It says Mary.
It says Mary!
That's crazy.
What? Put a little bit of Mary in your pretzel? Yeah. Okay, so first things first, we are going to start with introducing the ingredients. Let me introduce you to them. 4 cups of flour. We are using an organic whole wheat flour. I would like to point out that if this does not agree with your body, the stores or your neighbor have all kinds of flour. Check out this flour. Gluten-free and vegan all-purpose flour. What? I bet that's delicious. Never fear, you can use that. Also, I want to point out something. If making this pretzel doesn't work for you, and you still want to embrace this project and be part of the pretzel party, they come in a bag. They're crunchy. Whoa. And they have little prayer hands on them. They're delicious. You could make all kinds of dips and dip your pretzels in. You could still have a pretzel party. We're just making them this way. That's okay. We're trying something new. We're excited about it. So, 4 cups of flour. I'm sorry I'm eating and talking. rosemary if you want, or get crazy. Get some other spices and seasonings and flavors out of your cabinet and try some other pretzels. I'm sure lots of people do that. 1.5 cups of warm water.
Yep.
Warm water.
Warm.
I think it activates this little guy right here.
Most likely.
The yeasty. Happy Easter.
Yeasters.
Okay. 1 egg. Maybe you don't do eggs. Maybe eggs are hard to find right now. This is a final ingredient at the end to kind of turn it golden brown and shiny and make your salt stick. Don't panic if you don't have this. It doesn't go into the bread of the pretzel. We just make a little egg wash, but 1 egg. Just a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of, what do we have there, Ev?
Sugar.
Just sugar, no big whoop. So these are some basic ingredients. I got pretty excited. I think if this goes well, we could make some more pretzels.
Yum.
We have a lot of flour on our countertop. Our countertop has been cleaned. We have a lot of flour on here because this dough is going to be really sticky, like gum.
Mm-hmm.
And you get your hands floury, and you get the dough floury, and you don't touch your face, and you don't touch your friends,
And wash your hands.
and wash your hands, but not right now, but before you start. And you make a ball, and you knead it, and then you tear it, and we're going to show you all that. So let's get to getting, let's go right now.
All right.
So we are going to just start putting ingredients in. Piper, I'll start with the yeast. We're using a mixer. You can just use a bowl. These work. These guns right here. It's great. We have a mixer. It's going to get kind of loud just for a minute. Ev, you want to hit the salt and sugar? Pass it to her. I can put some in too. One of the tricks is to add your warm water right away with your salt and your sugar and your yeast, because we already did a test through so you can see what they look like when they're done, and we noticed right away. Then add your flour slowly. If you're already a baker, you already know this. You are rolling your eyes at me. Miss Suzanne, I know you add your flour slowly. I know these things so that it doesn't go into your face. So you add that slowly. Then we save our egg wash for the end.
Save that for later.
And our secret ingredient.
The rosemary.
Rosemary, that's right. So Evan, you can just do some dashes. You don't have to measure, Mary. Come on now, just a little sprinkle, a little dab will do ya. How much rosemary do you want in this pretzels? Let's see. So Piper's at the mixer and it's working it. It's working the dough. All the flour's gone. And just stack that right over there. And you know, it's so interesting to me that this started so long ago, and here we are in 2020, giving it a try and knowing that it's this special symbol of folded arms, little praying hands. I just think that's adorable. And I think we're almost there. I was going to talk some more about Lent. What are some things we do during Lent, do you think? We used to give up a lot. And then we started just looking at ways we could pray a little bit more and reach out in our community, maybe go to bed a little bit earlier. Sometimes I think about God and faith before I go to bed, and I can't do that if I'm so tired that I fall right asleep, so I'll go to bed a little bit earlier. I do know that when Easter comes and the candy is involved, you know, I don't think the monks really knew about all that back then. I think pretzels were probably pretty exciting. But the candy that's involved now is very exciting. You don't want to eat too much. But it's a very exciting part of Easter and a celebration.
But maybe instead of giving up something, you might want to try something new, like doing more, like spreading more kindness, more positivity, helping out more.
That's right. So Piper, what are you doing right now? Walk us through it a little bit.
Alright, I'm currently just putting our dough on the flour, because it's really sticky. It's all done, all mixed. And we're going to start kneading it into a little ball.
It's super sticky. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to show you how sticky it is.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not joking around here. This pretzel dough is sticky. So we want, that's okay. It leaves room for flour. So you get to have fun with this part. So you get your flour in there until the sticky doesn't get you. It doesn't touch you. And then you start kneading. What does knead mean? We need God. I'll tell you how much. And we need the dough. So these are the heels of our hands, not your feet. Don't use your feet. I mean, you could use your feet.
Clean your feet
If you
first,
use your feet,
Wash
you
your
don't need to
feet
make a
first.
video about that. You don't need to tell me about that. But that's your own business in your own kitchen. But these are the heels of your hands, and you get in there, and you just want to toughen up the dough just a little, not too much. Now, if you get to where maybe you're praying while you're doing this, because I was thinking kneading dough is a nice time to pray. I was thinking about all the times it's a nice time to pray. Make time to pray. Don't get into all the prayers for everybody you ever knew, because you're going to need probably too long.
Yep.
And then your dough, then you eat your pretzel and you go, oh, that's really tough, right? You overwork your dough. So you just knead a little bit, right? You need God a lot, knead the dough a little bit. Just get in there a little bit.
One with an N.
Yeah, there's no problem. Is that homonym? It's spelled different. This isn't an English video. It's fine. All right, so now we're looking good, and we had too much flour out. That's okay. That's okay. Live and learn. So guys, this is the fun part. You get to tear your part, and if you need a little more flour so it doesn't stick to you, because we're not making slime, we're making pretzels. So, maybe that much. Yeah, we'll get in there.
If you want smaller and more pretzels, you can do a little
thinking
less.
maybe-
If you want one big giant pretzel, go
I'm
for
going
it.
to rip and do a couple of balls here, okay? And then guess what you get to do? Which is my favorite part. You get to roll this puppy into a snake. A long snake. Now, I like my pretzel to not be too bagely. I want it a little thinner.
Not as
So I'm gonna roll that snake out, pretty long, because the longer it is, the more. And then Piper is our master. How did that happen? Evan and I gave it a try earlier to get our
It's not
praying
good.
arms, our little Italiano praying arms of grace and beauty.
We tried our best.
No, they were elephant seals. We tried.
They were elephant seals.
And we're okay with that. We admit that wasn't one of our gifts. But Piper, she had those arms, I'll tell you what, there was a choir going on there. And that was beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah. We'll show you.
Yeah.
We baked some, like Hollywood magic, where I turn around and I open up the oven, and I'm like, and now, yeah, that's going to happen in a second. I guess it doesn't happen as much more, like people edit their videos now and stuff. But back in the day, my day, older people day, magic television. You just open up that other oven and they're ready.
Whoa.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. You see her snake? Can you see it?
Mine's up
So, what you're gonna want is you're gonna take your two ends.
I'm
You're
ready.
gonna kind of make a ring.
I can do that.
And you're gonna cross them a little like this.
Yep.
And you're gonna twist them.
Animal Crossing. Favorite game.
And then you're just gonna lay it over.
Piper! That's the best I ever did it!
On them over so then they
I
stick
know.
to each other.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Piper! Evan, that's the best you ever
Yeah,
did it!
this is fun.
Then you just wanna lay them.
Fun.
Make sure you
Fun.
grease your pan.
Quarantine wet. Quarantine. All right.
You got it. Just pick them up.
Just pick it up.
Mine's a
Calm
little big.
down, Suzanne. Miss Suzanne, just pick up your pretzel. Well, I'm trying. Stop.
They're resilient.
They're resilient.
Mine's a little bit big.
They're
It's all right. Yours is going to be great. Everyone's pretzel is going to be different. We're all different. I'm going to go with this. We are all different. And God made us perfect. How can we all be perfect if we're all so different? How does that work? All these pretzels, these are all perfect pretzels. They don't look the same. What? Just the way they were designed. Perfect in every way. So
Yep.
you can tell God, you don't even have to ask God for anything tonight. You can be like, hey God, thank you. Thank you for that perfect tree, that perfect flower. Thank you for, what? What could you say? My
Thank you
perfect
for-
brain, my perfect lungs, and my perfect heart.
Thank
Hey,
you for the
even if
dough.
you need a little help with those lungs and heart, they're perfect. They're designed just right. God
Thank you for
knows.
these pretzels.
Thanks for these
God doesn't
pretzels.
make mistakes, you guys.
Thank you for the
These
yeast.
pretzels aren't a mistake. Look at these.
Thank you for the dough.
We're not God. We're not. Both does. All right, I think we better get these in the oven and wrap this video up because, although you guys have a lot of time on your hands to watch videos.
You guys have a lot of time.
We don't want to bore you.
He's a little thingy.
So we were thinking maybe next week we do an art project. And we're just going to have Sunday school like this.
Art?
We're going to put it up on the YouTube, which makes me very nervous. We will make the comments not be able to happen. However, what do you call that? You have a
You make it unlisted.
Yeah, you guys will get private link because you're special. We don't need to be putting that out.
Yeah, that was fun.
We are
Don't
hysterical.
forget to twist them.
Oh, well, I kind of like. Oh, okay. One more twist, do you think?
It's a little bit
Like-
bigger.
Yeah, you're right. And then they stay together. Thank you, Piper. I always need a little extra help. That's okay. Okay, so we have too much flour here. Let me ask the kids something. Food safety. Boy, and this is a precious commodity. We might need to make something else, like some cookies or something tonight. We can't waste this. Can I just put this back in the flour bag?
No.
What?
Because it's been
But no, this is precious.
It's
It's been touched, and you know what else I see? Little bits of what's happening there. Yeah.
those sticks.
Okay.
We
All right, we will find another way to use this flour. We may just have a bake-a-thon. Are you ready to put those in the
Yeah,
oven?
think about
Those
it.
are
Put it in the oven.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Woo! So your oven was set at 425. That's something you want to do whenever you're baking. You want to set that oven or have your parents set the oven. Some of my students are older. You guys handle your own ovens, but ask your parents. 425 before you get started, because it takes a little bit for the oven to preheat,
Yep.
right? We don't want our pretzels to sit out too long. Who remembers what the German word for pretzel was?
Oh.
It rhymed with pretzel.
Pretzel.
And then that fun Italian word with that beautiful monk 600 years ago legend. This is a legend. We think we're saying it wrong. Shoot me an email. Okay, you guys, we miss your faces at church. Oh.
And don't forget to set that timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
What would I do without you? How much bread have I burned
Oh.
in a lifetime?
Oh.
Many, many bread.
You wouldn't know it. Eat a lot of bread, but I'll spur it. All right, we can't wrap up this video because you need to know the glory of these bad boys. It's great. Look at these.
Wow. These are great.
The rosemary.
I feel that.
I'm not even gonna make a fake TV face. Let me just hold on. Hold on. Give me a minute.
I like it.
Sometimes I close my eyes. That's like Lent. When you give up something, you can focus. Or if you just take an extra minute during Lent to wonder or pray more. I'm taking a minute to taste my pretzel. I can feel the flavor better. I can sense it. Taste it. Oh, that's a good pretzel. So we used an organic whole wheat flour. I really liked that. There are so many flours you can use, and I encourage you to try all the flours and tell us how that works. We didn't know not to overwork your dough. It worked out okay. So don't be afraid to get in there and knead it. But remember, we need God a lot, but we need the dough a little. Just a little. That's right. Okay, you guys. I don't want to talk with my mouth full, but we'll see you next week with a fun art project. And we miss you at church, and we hope you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, make sure to reach out. That's what community is for. We're a family. Bye.
Bye.